The Fiasco NASCAR Cup Series had a little bit of off time, but now we are back and better than ever. Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen, for race 2 of the Fiasco NASCAR Cup Series, live from the Taylor Swift Superdome. A lot of you guys might also know this as Dodge Raceway from the old NASCAR games. This race is going to be a ton of fun, a lot of chaos. If I had to describe this track in 3 words, Bristol on steroids. But let's look at the starting lineup for today's race. Jimmy Don Hackett and Eric Keplinger in row 1. Then it's Dat Boy and Skippy McApplebottom Jeans. Bob Ross and Tony Davidson in row 3. In row 4, Elliott Atwood and Robert Harrison. Row 5, Jack D and Jover Smith. Row 6, Gavin Ayer and Kenny Calloway. Row 7, Freddie Martinez and Matt Otten. Row 8 has Valkyrie Cork and Bubba Means. Row 9, Tim Wilson and Heathcliff Bartholomew Abernathy III. Row 10, James Blimston and Stuart F. Row 11, Max Simmons and James McNulty. Row 12, TJ Jones and Thor Asgard. Row 13, Julio Garces and Despacito Man. Row 14 has Sterling Cope and Clint Harvick. Row 15, Nick Breeding and Sparky Tundra, Daytona 500 winner. Torkelos Mickums and Corey B are in row 16. Row 17 has Jonathan Wong and Eric Olson. Row 18, Ryan Labonte and Rodney Childers. Row 19, Tom Cruise and Jade Pagan. Row 20, we have Adi Borges and MJ Jones, and rounding out the field in row 21 is Carlos Borges and Matt D. Now let's look at the race information for today at the Taylor Swift Superdome. It is a 75 lap race, 85 degrees, 5-mile-per-hour winds, and the tip today, stay out of trouble. Who's going to win today's race? Let's find out. Hope you guys enjoyed today's new graphics for the FNCS, and we are green and underway here at the Taylor Swift Superdome for the second race. You see Jimmy Don Hackett in that number 75 car already getting off to a good start. He is ahead of 78, Dat Boy, and it looks like he's going to lead that first lap here at the Taylor Swift Superdome. That gives him a bonus point for the season. You see Eric Keplinger and the number 91 already into the wall. There's a lot of room on this track. It's much wider than Bristol, but everybody's fighting for the same real estate, which really leaves for no room at all. You see the 22 and the 24 getting together coming out of turn 4 there. Tim Wilson looking to turn his misfortunes around, going 3 wide, taking contact with the number 22 right there as they go into turn 3, coming out of turn 4, running 3 wide almost all the way around. They make contact again on the front straightaway, but they manage to keep it smooth. The number 62 of James McNulty is looking to stretch the gap between him and the 48 since he was all over the place. Despacito Man on the outside of Thor Asgard and Clint Harvick. He is trying to make moves on the highest side. He is carrying a ton of speed with that high line. He might just stay up there. And now we are on lap 6 of 75 here. Jimmy Don Hackett is being challenged by the 78 of Dat Boy and the 18 of Skippy McApplebottom Jeans, running that low line, trying to clear him, coming out of the corner, but doesn't quite do it. They're side by side, and it looks like Dat Boy was trying to make it 3 wide right there. And right next to him, we have the 3 of Mr. Bob Ross. He had a win last year at Richmond. Will he be able to get another win here at the Taylor Swift Superdome? Coming to lap 10, Jimmy Don Hackett gets knocked to the high line and out of the lead, and Skippy McApplebottom Jeans has a massive run coming out of turn 4. He's going to begin to stretch out the gap. Number 88 of Kenny Calloway looking for his 4th career win here in the FNCS. He's running the low line along with Dat Boy and the number 55 of Tony Davidson. Advancing a little bit to lap 14, Bob Ross finds himself into the wall. He's going to get passed by multiple cars. And you see number lap 16, the 32 of Matt D gets a little loose coming out of the corner, and he collects the 2 of Carlos Borges. We're going to take a look at this on the replay here. Brand new graphics for you guys. I hope you guys enjoy them. And you see coming out of turn 2, he just loses it. It looks like he was trying to not hit the 10 of Sparky Tundra, and by doing that, he might have hit the brakes a little bit too hard. Let's hop on board with the helmet cam. You see he slowed up a little bit there coming out of the corner, and by doing that, he just wound up losing control of the car. And Carlos Borges in that number 2 was merely just a bystander at that point, couldn't do much there. But you see he's going to fight to stay on this lead lap here, trying to stay in front of the leader, Skippy McApplebottom Jeans, but right behind him is 75 of Jimmy Don Hackett trying to take that lead back. This is when it's going to get interesting. All of these fast cars trying to get around the lap cars without causing any issues. We're almost 33% through this race. The 32 of Matt D is obviously slower than everybody else. It doesn't look like he's going to be much trouble for these leaders. Kenny Calloway running in third right now, trying to make some moves, trying to get towards the front of the pack. And here we are on lap 26, where Carlos Borges is still fighting to stay on that lead lap. Surprisingly, he's able to keep the speed up and stay out front of the 18. And the number 75 of Jimmy Don Hagan concedes his position to the much faster 88 of Kenny Calloway. Yellow flag is out on lap 27. We have a bit of a mess here on the front straightaway. Gavin Ayer, the 33, is involved. Torquilo Smigos looks like he got a little bit of a piece of that, as did the 14 and the 10 of Sparky Tundra. And we see on lap 28, MJ Jones in the 92 is trying to come down pit road, as was the 2 of Carlos Borges, and they just get together. A little bit of miscommunication there. The 92 gives him a little bit of payback while on pit road. As we take a look at the replay, just a lot of stuff happening right there on the front stretch. Cars get together, and that collects even more. It is the 33 and the 22 that get involved, and they wind up collecting Ryan Labonte and the 5. Nothing he could have done there to avoid that. It just came out of nowhere for him. And as we look at it in slow motion, just how hard these guys hit the wall, you really don't get an idea of how fast these cars are going until one of them hits the wall. It's insane. And you see this wreck here winds up collecting 7 drivers. Somehow the 56 of Jade Pagan was able to avoid all that. And you see there was more chaos happening on that same lap. Heathcliff Bartholomew was on his roof, and Tim Wilson goes up on 2 wheels. This starts an absolute traffic jam in one of the turns. But we are going to go back to green flag racing here at the Taylor Swift Superdome. McApple Bottom Jeans is doing all he can to stay up front, and he's trying to get past these lap cars. Hopefully they don't hold him up so the 88 can get to him. And you see Carlos Borges in that 2 car going extremely slow. He might be trying to get to pit road. Getting to pit road is one of the main challenges in this track. It's not in the infield like every other NASCAR track in the series. It is on the outside underneath all of the stands. And you see he barely slips in there, but that causes an accident. Bubba Means and Max Simmons are amongst those involved. James McNulty is also involved, as is Despacito Man. We're going to hop on board with Despacito Man. Just not enough relay state to go around there. James McNulty and the 11 wind up getting together, and Bubba Means is just a bystander at that point. Nothing he could have done right there. There are a lot of situations at this track where you're just not going to be able to do anything to avoid these wrecks. So you really just need to strap in and hope for the best. Green flag is back in the air here on lap 41. The leaders are running the high line, as are the lapped cars running the low line. And you see how fast these cars really go on this track. It really is Bristol on steroids. This is one of my favorite tracks to watch these guys race on. Kenny Calloway is trying to chase down that number 18. Hopefully a caution doesn't come out, so he'll actually be able to get a chance to catch him. You see Eric Olsen causing a little bit of chaos towards the back of the pack, trying to get a good finish here so he can get on the road to getting back-to-back championship wins here. And Ryan Labonte manages to get some speed despite having a tore up back end from an earlier incident. He has some speed and he's finding it. He's trying to salvage these points. Skippy McApple Bottom Jeans is trying to stretch out his lead to a second. Kenny Calloway is trying to work his way through the lapped cars. Matt D goes up into the wall. It doesn't look like 88 forced him up there. It just looks like the 32 wasn't able to hang. You see Tony Davidson in that 55 also trying to work his way through lapped cars. We are on lap 50, coming to lap 51. And now we just forward a little bit more to lap 54. Skippy McApple Bottom Jeans has worked his lead up to 2.5 seconds. The only way these guys are going to be able to catch that leader is if a wreck happens. And it looks like it might happen here. Jade Pagan is losing a bit of control of his car. Almost wrecks Torquilo Smigos, but he manages to work his way through. Right behind him is James Blimston. Lap 57 coming on 58, and you see there's a wreck on the back straightaway. The number 2 smashes into the barrier dividing pit road and the track. A terrifying wreck for the number 5, the number 2, and the number 62. Torquilo Smigos is also involved. A massive wreck here at Dodge Raceway, and as the 62 was still sitting in track, Adi Borges in the 14 just winds up smashing into him. And as we hop on board, it's like she was trying to avoid the pace car, but winds up hitting the 62 anyways. That is an F in the chat, my boys. I don't know what to say about that. But here we are on the replay. You see the 2 of Carlos Borges just gets involved. And you know, it's a really scary wreck for the number 5. Let's hop on board with Twerkalo Smigums. Now we're going to give a little follow to Ryan Labonte as he spun in pit road. Luckily, nobody got hurt during that incident. That was extremely terrifying as the number 5 spun into pit road and the number 2 of Carlos Borges absolutely clobbered that dividing barrier. But here we are, green flag is out in the air, and you see that boy with an amazing restart at the line. 12 laps remaining and he goes straight to the outside of Skippy McApple-Bottom Jeans. That was a legal move. He did not beat the leader to the line. He just got a restart for the ages on that number 18 car. 11 laps remain in the Taylor Swift Superdome, and you see a little bit of chaos going on here. Does everybody keep it together? Yes, they do. Green flag stays out. Coming to the line here, 10 laps remain at the Superdome. You see the 18 going low, trying to make a pass like he did earlier in the race. They are side by side on the backstretch, but the 78 winds up beating him to turn 3. Everybody's going to go single file here. The 18 is running a little bit of a lower line than everybody else. I don't know if that's going to be hurting his speed or not. Kenny Calloway finds himself in the wall a little bit, but he manages to stay off of it, but he loses some speed. Jimmy Don Hagen takes that position from him, and Matt D winds up passing him even though he is a lapped car. 8 laps remain here at the Superdome. The number 78 is starting to extend his lead, putting a lapped car between him and the 18. The 18 almost gets turned by Jimmy Don Hagen in the 75, but they managed to keep it straight for now. A lot of tight racing here at the Superdome at the closing stages. 7 laps remain here. It is all take and no give. Everybody is just trying to fight for all of the positions they can right now, and the 78 is trying to stay out in front. You see these 3 leaders are trying to work their way around the lapped car of Max Simmons. They have all cleared the 32 of Matt D, but the 78 is able to just run his line. He has nothing but green ahead of him. Jimmy Don Hagen is in the wall, but it doesn't seem to hurt his speed all too much. The 18 is trying to do all he can to chase down the 78, and we're going to advance here. Coming on 3 laps remaining. The 78 of that boy has extended his lead to 1.3 seconds. And here we are for the final lap of the race. It is a 2-second lead for the number 78. It seems all but inevitable that he will get his first career win in the Fiasco NASCAR Series. Coming out of turn 4, it's that boy. He wins at the Taylor Swift Superdome. Congratulations to the number 78 of that boy. The first time the 78 has been to victory lane since last year at Texas Motor Speedway, which is where we go next week for the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series. Congratulations to the 78 and the 18 for finishing second. The 18 dominated all race long, but just wasn't able to close it out when it mattered. And here we are with the official results. Dat Boy, Skippy McApple-Bottom Jeans, Don Hagen, Olsen finds his way into 4th place, surprisingly. Kenny Calloway, Matt Olsen, Cope, Keplinger, Davidson, and Harvick round out the top 10. And we are going to check out the bottom half. If you guys have not finished in the top 40, you did not get points. You see Tim Wilson in there still struggling, finishing 39th. Bob Russ goes from the front all the way to the back, finishing 36th. Ryan Labonte and Despacito Man both struggled. But now we are going to take a look at the current points standings. You see right here, it is a 3-way battle for the points lead, as Kenny Calloway is the first one off of the top 3 by 17 points. And after that, everybody is pretty tightly packed. But I do hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe so you miss no more videos and live streams that I do in the future. I hope you guys enjoyed all of the new editing and the new graphics, and I will see you guys in the next video. See ya.
I don't really know what's going